Heading into first half of RC versus RD. Definitely going to be expecting a Mad Eyes match. Dream is the most notorious Mad Eyes, I would say, in all of the competitive scene. Yeah, we're going to see immediately locking out the Priestess as well as the Thief. Thief is a pretty solid Mad Eyes ban, a little bit unconventional here, especially against, RC. We usually see Thief on Southeast Asia teams. Regardless, Thief is a very good ban here because he can infinitely stun Mad Eyes off of consoles, or pretty much infinitely, for a good amount of time. Mad Eyes also can't get close enough to him to get a hit, as long as the flashlight is active. So Thief, very solid ban here. However, we are going to see RC locking in the Enchantress as well as the Professor. Professor here, a really, really interesting pick. We have seen Professor coming out more and more against the Mad Eyes because he can take a chip hit without taking any damage. So the first wall that lands in his area is not going to go through. It will just be taken. He has an extra sort of scale ability that takes that chip hit. For the rest of our Survivor lineup here, we are going to have Enchantress as well as Mercenary and Prospector. So two and a half harassers here, I would say, with the Professor on the team included. But Enchantress is very, very strong as well against Mad Eyes. Enchantress does gain stacks every time she heals a teammate. That's a strategy that RC will definitely be trying to use coming into this match. As soon as a survivor hits, at least halfway damage, Enchantress can go heal them up, and she will be able to farm stacks off of them for the remainder of the match, which can be huge. Especially against the Mad Eyes. Mad Eyes is very vulnerable to stuns. He needs to be on his consoles. He needs to be in the animation of the consoles as well. You can stun him out of that. You can also use stuns when kiting him because he needs to be very, very close to survivors to get any hits. His hitbox is not very good. Now, the most important thing for Dream here is going to be that Mad Eyes is a camp hunter. As soon as he can get a survivor into the chair, the better, because he can just place walls around it, make it impossible to rescue, and knock down the survivors one by one that way. However, RC is going to do everything in their power to not have that happen, and we have seen before here that a coordinated team can be absolutely detrimental to a Mad Eyes. So Dream really is going to need to pull out all of the stops in order to stop these survivors. We are going to see that they did allow him to have the center spawn. Now, this does mean that the survivors, I believe each survivor is actually going to spawn at or near a console with this spawn setup. So very effective here for the survivors to start knocking down the energy on Dream's consoles. We are going to see that Dream is carrying Insolence as well as Confined Space, so no detention here. Also no trump card, so we will be carrying Blink through the entirety of the match. No detention here is a little bit of a risk, but that is pretty common for Mad Eyes mains, especially crazy Mad Eyes mains. You do tend to see them not carrying detention. They go for that Insolence here. Insolence is very, very important with a Mad Eyes because the walls come up much faster when you're at max presence. They don't do that until you're at max presence. The quicker that you can do that, the better. We're going to see immediately Dream getting into these consoles here. Rapid fire switching between them. Now, this is to make sure that the survivors can't decode the consoles as well as can't decode their ciphers. We are seeing that the survivors are heading to those consoles though, so not getting hit yet, though. They are doing a very, very good job of avoiding those walls, but no cipher started yet. We're approaching a minute into the match. This is going to be a very, very drawn-out match here. Dream just continuing to go through these, cycle through the consoles, trying to get a chip hit in on any of these survivors. Soba coming very, very close there, but able to avoid it just a little bit longer. Now we are going to see, looks like those consoles are getting pretty depleted here. All of the survivors just kind of hanging out around the edges of those radiuses. And we're going to see our first cipher is started. Dream heading off of the consoles here, looking for our first target. We're going to try to enter a console. Looks like we're going to just bypass that and head for Soba here. Unless, no, we're actually going to turn and head for Rowley on that one cipher that's being decoded so far. We were able to get it to 21%. Now, any cipher decoding progress really, really matters here. We are in a position here on Ever Sleeping where the ciphers are fairly close together. It's not, a huge deal to rotate between ciphers and get them cleaned up later in the match. So any decoding that can get on a cipher here is very, very helpful to the survivors. Now we are going to see Soba did get a little bit trapped here with the wall that Dream placed. So he is going to be locked into this area. Dream trying to bait out the scale, not wanting to have a hit go to waste here. We're going to try and bait the blink as well once, twice. Not going to work. Soba just continuing this chase. Walling off this area does mean that Soba's not going to be able to tight kite it. And with a beautiful use of that scale, we are going to be able to avoid the hit just a little bit longer. Now, that flywheel did unfortunately cancel the magnet, but Blink is still up here. That's definitely what Soba was trying to avoid. But with that pallet drop, we are going to leave an opening for that Blink to go through. Soba, unfortunately, not able to Blink predict that. And Dream is just going to continue this chase. Now, ciphers are starting to move along here. We're at 46%, 38%, and about, 20% on that first cipher that was tapped and then moved away from. So we are starting to get progress on these ciphers. Dream back to the consoles here, trying to cut off the survivors. Looks like we are continuing to keep tabs on their locations. Getting a chip hit in on City, that is very, very important here. City obviously is our mercenary. Getting a chip hit in on the mercenary is huge because that means that he can't rescue as safely. Now, it is a Mad Eyes, so if he's not at the chair, the moment that chair is placed, then he is going to have a difficult time rescuing no matter what. But it is what it is. And it's obviously not a bad thing to have that Merc get chip damage. Approaching 3.5 minutes into the match here, that does mean we will be seeing accelerated decoding. Now, that accelerated decoding really only matters if the survivors are able to decode their ciphers, but at this trajectory, they are definitely just, chipping away little by little by little. We are going to see that insolence buff is coming in handy, though. Mad Eyes at, I believe, about a hit away from full presence there, so that is going to be 2 chip hits-ish. Or it might be 3 chip hits, actually. But we are going to get another chip hit in there on Rowley. Dancing around these consoles once again here. Cypher is not able to progress with this pressure. So does look like City did take another chip damage. Not the end of the world, and honestly, a very, very good thing here. This means that City can now be healed up to 100%. We are also healing up Soba. This is exactly what I was saying at the beginning of the match. Enchantress being able to heal up the rest of these survivors is huge, because that means now that every hit that Soba takes, Rowley is going to get another stack. Huge for late game, end game here with Enchantress's harassment potential. City taking the chase here. We do still have 2 elbow pads left to utilize, as well as Mercenary's delayed damage, so it will take him some time to go down. We're going to try and place another chip hit in on Ivory. Unfortunately, not going to connect. Soba in the area here could come for harassment, but at this point, we're actually going to see Dream locking off the graveyard here, getting another chip hit in on City. So once again here, City will be 1 hit down. Unfortunately, delayed damage on the Mercenary not going to come through in this situation. Are we going to be able to get the chip hit on Soba? No, we're going to continue, change targets, try and track down City once again here. City, unfortunately, getting a little bit caught there with the blood trail, despite his efforts to hide it. So we're just going to dance around this corner for another minute here, trying to get the chip hits in. We were actually able to get a chip on Prospector once again here, so we are going to see that Rowley has a 3-stack loaded. City continuing this chase. We're going to see our last elbow pad go through, just keep him alive a little bit longer. And Rowley coming in with the harassment. Nicely done on that 3-stack. We are approaching 1 cipher popped here in just a moment. Yep, so we are at 4 ciphers remaining. Nicely done there. Actually, it was actually mid-kite. Was the cipher directly outside of the graveyard. So nicely done there from Rowley. And Dream heading back to the consoles. Now, the big issue here for Dream is that he's not committing to a target. He's still trying to keep up this map pressure. And, this is a map pressure game. This is a game of whoever is going to fold first, whoever is going to make the first mistake here. At this point, though, you have 4 survivors and you have 1 hunter. Statistically, hunter is more likely to make a mistake there, just because when you are on a team with 4 survivors, kind of how it works. But Mercenary was actually able to be healed up there. Soba taking the chase once again here and was able to actually land a second scale. So that was very nicely done here. Going a little bit for that pallet stun, but just going to get the magnet stun instead. Soba taking the speed boost here from that Cypher and a beautiful pallet stun on Dream. Nicely done there. Cyphers are a little bit stagnant right now, though. Dream heading back on the map control game, trying to get those consoles to really come in handy here. We are going to actually see Rowley taking a hit, but that does mean, once again, Rowley can now be healed up to full health. So not the worst chip hit in the world to take. Rowley is going to flywheel away from a wall there as well, so that is in cooldown, but we do have another 3 stack, and that will definitely be used sooner than later, especially if Dream decides to change targets. But staying around the middle of the map here, just looking for that pressure to enact. We are going to get a wall in on Rowley's Cypher. Not going to take the chip hit, though. We are at full health here, so walls are coming up a little bit faster. RC doing a great job at just staying out of the way. Now, they have practiced against Akka, who is pretty much the other de facto Mad Eyes player, so that's definitely not a surprise that they're able to go kind of toe-to-toe here with Dream. Now, Dream back on the map control game. Rapid fire, just mastery of this character, switching between every single console on the map and looking for a target that we haven't quite been able to find. Now, obviously, this does mean that the ciphers as well are stagnating. They can't decode ciphers while Dream is, monitoring them like this, but once again, it really comes down to who folds first. We are going to see 3 survivors. They're scattering out of the way of the walls. Everyone being clumped on this side of the map is not great, but Dream not really able to take advantage of that fact here. We are going to see, it looks like we have migration towards the center of the map. Dream still trying to get in the way of the survivors' efforts to disrupt those consoles. And are we going to be able to find a target here? Ivory in the area, but still not taking that chip hit here. Looking for it, though. Very, very much we are looking to get that chip hit. The issue here is that there just isn't enough damage on the map. You have both Professor and Enchantress at full health here. Enchantress was able to get healed up because she took 2 chip hits, but coming on the offensive here, we were actually able to find a console that hadn't been depleted. So Rowley getting a little bit stuck within these walls. Dream is going to need to stretch to find this next console, though, because that one did not have a lot of energy on it. Okay, yeah, we do have much more energy there on that center console, but we do have to stretch to kind of try and force Rowley into the walls, keep him trapped there. Dream entering the maze here is going to be able to trap off Rowley. Yes, we are able to trap off Rowley here, using the blink to just get inside the walls. Little bit of unfortunate timing on that 3-stack stun. The hit still connected, and Rowley just trapped between a rock and a hard place here, using the flywheel to gain just an extra second, but no point in using that final stun here. We will be loaded with a 3-stack the moment that Rowley is taken off chair, but that amount of time, the amount of time that Rowley kited here, we've got two more ciphers have popped. So we're at 2 ciphers remaining here, 10.5 minutes into this match. So really just the tenacity of everyone involved here. Dream going on the offensive again, trying to lock off these ciphers, but Rowley is still healing. We've also got City in the area. City obviously not a harasser here, but just kind of dancing around, getting ready for the rescue. Now, City does need to be there because the moment that Rowley is chaired, those walls are going to go up around the chair, making it very, very difficult to rescue. Even more difficult to rescue for City, who is still at chip damage. And we're actually going to go ahead and drop Rowley once again here, heading back on the ciphers. It's a little bit dangerous here. We do need to get Rowley in the chair sooner or later. But no! Rowley is going to be able to self-heal and immediately unleashing that 3-stack stun and just going to be able to kite away from that. That's a pretty major misstep here on Dream's part. He needed to get a survivor in the chair. We've got 2 ciphers remaining here. We were able to down Soba. So that is pretty big. If we're able to go and get to Soba before he's picked up, that could restore Dream's momentum here. But heading over there, we are going to just go ahead and put Soba in jail, it looks like. Ivory was in the area to heal up, but that is not going to be the case. Rowley still near Dream, giving tinnitus here. And yeah, he does still have that that 3-stack stun. Dream obviously does not have excitement here, is working with Blink only, so Rowley really just has no fear being in that area. And yeah, in this time that we have been able to waste, one Cypher remaining now. So all of that time it took to get to this point, Survivor's really going on kind of the offensive here, despite being the Survivor faction. They are going on the offensive, pushing the Cyphers a little bit more boldly here. If Dream is able to catch them doing this, though, that could definitely restore a little bit of momentum. But the fact of the matter right now is that we haven't been able to get a chair. We're 12 and a half minutes into the match. And that's not a position that you want to be in as a Hunter main, no matter what the Hunter is. Even with a Mad Eyes does tend to kind of do this. Dream is just playing this very, very passively. And, not to discount the fact that the Survivors have been, running in circles around him, but that is the name of the game. Now, Mercenary did take another chip damage hit. If he's able to go and get healed up by Enchantress, that, once again, that would be huge for the Survivor faction. But Rowley just staying very, very close to Dream, actually farming stuns. I just realized that Enchantress does gain more stacks the longer she spends within radius of the Hunter. So Rowley's sticking around near Dream here. We're up to 4 stacks already. It does look like we're kind of migrating away, but no, we're actually going to go in for that 3-stack stun, trying to buy as much time as possible for these Survivors. Now, final Cyphers are hard at work here. Soba remaining in this prison, not able to self-heal, not able to move. We are actually going to go ahead and self-heal. It does look like those walls went down pretty quickly, and that's a little bit unfortunate here for Dream once again. Now, we don't have Abnormal here, so these Cyphers will be staying at 71 or 72 now and 82%. The amount of pressure that these Survivors are able to achieve, despite Dream just on top of these consoles, pressuring the entirety of the map at once, it doesn't go to any use if he's not able to land a hit, and that's exactly the position that RC Survivors have forced him into. Now, going for the heal on Soba, unfortunately, City not going to have enough time to finish that up. Now, we do see City as well has been in the chest, does have the forward ball, just in case he ends up too close to Dream here. We do have quite a bit of distributed damage now. Now, Dream can come back from this. The issue that will be fast approaching here is that all of these Survivors have borrowed time and Dream does not have detention. So heading towards the Cypher Pop. Oh, we're going to see the blink not go through. Soba's magnet canceling it out. And now that blink is in, 140 more seconds of cooldown. That is huge here for RC. Now, the walls are going up here, but City managing to escape just at the last second, and that Cypher was primed. We are going to go ahead and pop it. Now, Dream stuck in the graveyard here, does not have teleport. Now, we can pressure both of the gates from here, but yeah, we're getting pretty close to the end game here. 15 minutes in. Neither gate has been touched yet. Survivors need to go back on the offensive here and try to lock off these consoles. It does look like Rowley actually over at the exit gate, flywheeling through the wall. Nicely done there just at the last second before that wall came up. We've got all 4 Survivors over at that exit gate. Dream keeps moving around, trying to get to that gate, but just stuck in the graveyard here. Exit gate at about 30% open. Yeah, you can see all the Survivors just running around in that area, trying to avoid the walls, but also just stay there in order to open the exit gate. Exit gate sitting at 29%. I do believe it did get walled off. Rowley hiding in this pallet here. We do have a 3-stack, and that will be going through. Dream caught in the stun here. Soba back on the gate. 70-80% here. If Dream is able to catch up, But no, that gate is going to be open here, and there is absolutely nothing that Dream can do. This is a 4-man escape for RC in the first round. After how long was that? 16 minutes? Almost 17 minutes? Just incredible, incredible teamwork there. And what a way to start us off for the first round.